television shows. We've got other people that you know, are safe handling a gun and maybe have been out, but don't know a lot about pheasant hunting. We've got a few other people that, media people that aren't going to hunt and just want to walk along and observe. So kind of across the board, and just be aware of that.
I got a question. In their kit, do they get safety glasses? Because I'm a big believer in safety glasses.
Yeah. No, they
Would
don't.
anybody be offended? Like if I hunt a lot, and my intention is if I've got 6 hunters, I'm going to have 6 pair of safety glasses, and I'm going to give them to them if they want them. Because I think that's the danger we have. You can get a BB from 400 yards away, and the hunt goes downhill really fast at that point.
No, those are the kinds of things. I mean, you're going to be a mentor to this group. So, you know, and even talking about orange, you know, individually, you only have to wear one piece of orange above the waist. You know, some people want to be covered in orange. I mean, those are the kinds of things. They're your groups. So if you've got things that you do when you hunt, you know, you can hold the group to that standard and feel good about it. Yeah.
Kind of to spin off of one of his points, if it's a larger piece and there's multiple hunter hosts on that piece, would those groups hunt together on that piece, or is there a chance they would be hunting different areas of the same?
Yeah, you'll get you know, who you're hunting with for hunter hosts, and you'll figure out the strategy on that. So you know, if you want to hunt, you know, in one line, if you want to, some of these sections or pieces are split, so maybe one group goes one way or the other.
Yep.
That's up to you to figure out. What other questions?
You kind of touched on it a minute ago, but is everyone that's hunting know how to handle a gun, and or do we have to watch that too?
Yeah, the one thing that we say is they need to have completed a hunter safety course, and so we make the assumption that everyone that hunts is safe with a gun, but I mean, you know how it is in the field. You can hunt with somebody who's been out there for 50 years, and they may be swinging the barrel wrong. As a hunter host, as a mentor, feel free to coach them in a positive way about those things if you see behaviors that you don't feel are safe.
Okay.
I know there's a safety briefing at breakfast, but when they get in the field, each hunter host could gently do a reminder, say, make sure you see some sky between the bird and my dog, and they can give their own little safety pep talk as well. Can
Yeah,
they
boy,
not?
I highly recommend that. Again, each of you have different standards when you hunt, and we've all probably had it. Anybody that does a lot of hosting, those close calls with your dog, especially if you've got a dog that goes up after a bird or something like that. So yeah, talk to your group. Tell them, you know, when it's safe to shoot. You're going to be handling your dog and watching hunters. So if you even want them to wait until you holler shoot, I mean, that's up to you to judge. And I think that once you get to know the people in your group, you're going to pretty quick get a feel for how much guidance you want or need to give them. But as far as guidance, these are your groups, and so you know, manage them as your groups, making sure that they're safe and having fun.
Are there any questions
Tim.
about the schedule?
Yeah, can you just kind of go over it? This hunt isn't very long.
Yeah,
It's only a couple
great
hours.
idea.
Can you kind of give them an idea of what we kind of expect them to do in then 2 hours?
Yeah, yeah, it's a short hunt, and so we start serving breakfast at 6:30. About 7:45, we have a short program. The governor's going to speak, and we have a safety meeting, and at that point, hopefully no later than 8:15. We're hoping maybe a tad earlier. We'll send you all to the field. Your spots might be 5 minutes, it might be 20 minutes away, but by 8:15, you'll be getting in vehicles. You can decide if you want to carpool or if you want to parade out there, your preference. If you'd sooner have vehicles follow you, if you'd sooner have hunters get in with you, it's up to you. But then we've got about 2 hours to hunt, 2.5 hours. We want to be back by noon, for sure. Maybe just a tad earlier. We start serving, Jane, at what time?
It will start serving 11:30.
Okay, start serving at 11:30, so if you filled out and you're done hunting, you can come in a little early. But otherwise, please try to be in by noon. Yeah.
It's down at the Rock County Sportsman's Club, not back at the banquet center.
Yeah, excellent point. Yeah, out at the Sportsman's Club. And we're going to have a noon celebration. We're going to be taking pictures of groups with their birds. Please don't clean your birds in the field, bring them back. We want to take a picture of your group with the birds. We're offering bird cleaning. We're going to have a contest for the longest tail, tail plucked out at the Sportsman's Club. None in your back pocket. And then we're also going to have a contest in the morning where people are going to guess how many birds are harvested for the total hunt. Now, to give you a range, out of the 7 events that we've held, the lowest bird count that we got was in Madelia. We had 30 plus mile-an-hour winds. There was no crop harvested. There was rain in the air. We shot 7 birds. On the other end, in 2012 in Marshall, we had an early harvest. The weather was spectacular. We shot 112 birds. Just a little side note, National Pheasant Fest this year, which was in Sioux Falls, the governor of South Dakota was talking smack about how few birds that we harvested at our governor's pheasant opener. Well, I happen to know that they use pen birds at the South Dakota opener. So the governor, after he got done talking, he's winding up through the crowd, and everybody was sitting and kind of ignoring him, and I stood up and introduced myself and said hello. And I said, Governor, I says, I just want you to know that the birds that we harvest at the Minnesota governor's hunting opener, they're wild. And I sat down and we kept going. So
We're gonna get elected over in South Dakota.
we do have a couple of exceptions to that. We're going to have a veterans hunt. We want those people to shoot birds. We're going to put some birds out there. We've also got a women's mentored hunt. And this is kind of a special deal. We've got a half a dozen experienced women hunters from around the state that are coming in. They're going to do a Friday kind of training with mentees, inexperienced women hunters who applied to be part of this women's hunt. A number of them are from the Luverne area. We're going to have them as sort of their own hunt, and we probably are going to put some birds out for them too. Again, you know, brand new hunters, I want to give them some opportunity. But otherwise, everything else will be wild birds. We'll come in at noon. We'll have lunch. We'll give away some awards, like for the longest tail, guessing closest to the number. And then the formal part of the event is done, but then a whole different level of fun starts, because at 1:30 we've got a dog parade right out at the Sportsman's Club. Then the Gould brothers do their exhibition shoot, and then right back here we've got Pheasant Fiesta. So it's going to be 2 full days of fun, and hopefully you'll be able to join us for all those events during the 2 days.
Are there any maps or addresses or stuff of the places where all events are held?
Yeah, on the sheet that you got up there.
It's in the,
And then, Arlen, do you want to talk a little about the maps that they're going to have?
Yeah, sure. So each hunting party, we put together a map of the property that you're going to be hunting on, highlighted in yellow. And those areas are kind of the areas that we've talked to the landowner and have permission to be out on. We tried to match up hunter hosts with property that they may be familiar with, but I do know there are some hunter hosts that have not had any experience in the area that may need some additional direction on how to get to the piece or things like that. So definitely feel free to contact us about that. But maps are attached to your hunter host pairing with your most hunter. There's at least 2 with every group, I believe. So you'll need to get to know that hunter host as well as the group that you're going to be hunting, and kind of come up with a plan from there. So maps are attached to your pairings.
And if you are not the landowner with your group, be sure to point out to your guests that these people have made a great donation to allowing us to hunt their land. And in allowing us to hunt it for a couple hours in the morning is the exclusive. Maybe you should take it for granted, but just let them know that, you know, this isn't land that they can come back and hunt. This is a special opportunity granted by the landowner. And we really appreciate those of you that have donated land too. The hunt's not possible without it. Other questions?
If one of your party wants to bail out in the middle, I mean, I believe that's okay. But I mean, people need to, hunter hosts have to understand that they're not like required to corral them for the full 2 hours and take them home. If it's raining or whatever and somebody's not properly dressed and they're out there for half an hour and say, I'm out of here, and maybe point them in the right direction and they'll
Yeah,
be
help
on
give
their
them a
way.
safe exit, yeah, I mean, people with different physical abilities, and along with that, we're gonna have some elected officials, I mean, you know, they may get a call that forces them to walk away too, but just, if that's the case, help them to do so safely.
So another comment I make, we've been out on some of the properties that we set up. There's a lot of water here, so I don't know how you do it. They're gonna need knee-high boots on a lot of this property, and they're gonna have to be expected to cross water, or it's gonna get pretty bad for them.
That's a really good point. I wonder if we can send out a group email to everybody and just make them aware of that. The other thing that on that email we should probably say is that now if you look at the 10, 12-day forecast, there's at least a chance of rain next week, several days to throw in some rain gear.
And
Yeah,
also,
good point.
some of your guests have indicated that they may need clothing or orange or vests or so on and so forth. So if you have some extra gear to just throw it in the truck that morning and have it available after you take a look, that's just always a good idea, especially again if it's a rainy day and you need to, you know, switch out before you get to the Sportsman's Club for lunch. So thank you for doing that in advance and taking care of your guests.
Yeah, and everybody's going to get an orange ball cap for the event, which technically makes you legal, but never hurts to have one.
Scott, could you mention that maybe if you get in a group, we're asking the hunter host not to carry a gun, you might get in a group where they ask you to carry a gun, so make sure that you bring all your hunting gear just in case they request that.
Yeah.
And the other thing could be, you might have to, if someone's gun goes down or you might have to provide them a gun in replacement, so just bring your own stuff as well.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Tim. The one thing to remember is if they want you to carry your gun to save them from embarrassment, you can create some for yourself. Yes. But that's an excellent point, especially to have a backup shotgun in case somebody's fails.
Do you have any idea how many of the guests are gonna have dogs?
We do, and I think we've got that included on there, don't we? If they're bringing a dog, not only do we have the dog, but we've got the gender and whether it's plenty fresh.
So that question then, they bring a dog, because well, there we go, females in heat, it's number one. Number two, I've hunted with dogs before where I put my dog up just because the dog that I'm hunting with cannot get along. How do we handle that situation?
Yeah, not all dogs socialize the same, and we know that everybody believes they have the world's best hunting dog. And, not everybody does. It's your hunt.
Okay.
So, I mean, if there's a situation where the dogs aren't getting along, please do so respectfully, but you know, you want them to have a good experience, and if those dogs are scrapping, if their dog's 200 yards out, that's not a good experience for anybody.
I think you know that in advance.
Pardon?
I think you know that in advance.
Yeah.
Control your dog, bring it, if not, let us do it.
The way I've always done it, guy, you know, whatever it is, I carry a gun and the only time I shoot is if they win something. It's just so you find it.
Yeah. There's, another option. We have never had an incident, and I tell you what, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, we have never had an incident with dogs or hunters. Frankly, the only injury we've had through the whole thing was when Governor Dayton took a bad fall in 2012. It resulted in knee surgery. And it's because he had limited mobility in the mind of a hunter, and he went through this thick of a slough and had some trouble. That's the only incident that we've had, and we're very fortunate. I want to keep that record.
That information in the packet, in case we do have a problem with a dog?
As far as...
Do we have a local vet with that contact information in the packet?
Rock vet clinic, yeah.
Okay.
We'll have that information available. They're on call.
Where is?
The dog parade, or what time is that?
I'll talk about that. We want to talk about that, Rick?
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just got a few things that I want to discuss about the whole hunter host thing, hunter ambassadors. This Friday the 12th, the registration that you guys will come is back here, not down at the Grand Parade next year. The hunter host registration is here, and that's from 1 to 3. And so you can pick up your packet for more information, and I'm going to tell you, we don't have Yeti bags like they did in Marshall last year, but the gift packet is bar none the best one in the 8 years of this operation, so you don't want to miss out on that. In your packet, there will be hunter host jackets. Be sure you wear them Saturday morning to the breakfast so they can locate who you are, and during the hunt, and then at the bird dog parade as well. And as Scott mentioned earlier, when you're done with the hunt, it's back to you bring your hunter guests back to the Rock County Sportsman's Club, which is just about 1.5 miles out of town, and to the south of 0.5 mile, and you'll see it out that way. The bird dog parade, that's something new that I don't think has ever been done in the hunter host. And best ideas in my world are stolen ones. And I went to Pheasant Fest over in Sioux Falls earlier this year, and they had a bird dog parade before they opened up the convention or the show. And they had hundreds of dogs in the parade, but thousands of people lined up the corridors of the convention center over there just to watch the dog parade. So I came up with that, and you're strongly required to participate in our bird dog parade. It's very informal. Some of the hunters that will be out, if they have a dog they want to be in the bird dog parade, they can. When out at the Sportsman's Club, after our launch, after the program, we'll kind of arrange ourselves on the north side of the trap shack, is what I call it, and make sure you have your dogs on leash. And when we walk through, we'll have there'll be 3 large bleacher sections set up for the Gould Brothers shooting exhibition. And what the plan is we'll walk our dogs in front of the people that are already out there for the show, and it'll be very informal. We'll line you guys up, guys and gals, and we'll have Mr. Ossenfort will be the host out there that day. We'll have a hand mic, you'll introduce yourself. My name is Rick Peterson. This is my dog Imus. He's a German wire hair, 11 years old, and you'll walk across in front of the crowd. And then that's how we'll march everybody through them. Everybody that participates in the voluntary required dog parade will be entered into a drawing. We're going to give away 6 rough, tough dog waterers. So you get a little incentive then. One of the other things you're going to get in your bag for participating in this host is the first and one-of-a-kind limited edition dog collars with a brass tag of the Governor's Pheasant Hunting logo on the tag. So if you would like, and maybe your dogs don't normally wear a collar, but if you put that on for the dog parade, that would be good. Some of the people may want to meet and greet your dog afterwards. If you're comfortable with that, do so. If not, by all means put your dog away, because the gun show will start shortly after that. And you guys started Saturday night. That's about all I got. So yes.
Could I suggest, if you're sending out an email to bring reindeer and boots, you might say if you bring a dog, why don't you bring a leash?
Yes, because I know a lot of guys that go out, don't bring a leash along. And if you have 3 dogs or 10 like Scott Raw, bring 10 leashes and 10 people to walk your dogs. He only can win 1 dog water. He can't win. Any questions on any other? Got Tim.
Rick, why don't you just do a little advertising on this $50 deal for the...
Oh yeah, and you guys also available. If you walk by this Polaris Ranger out there, Polaris, a great Minnesota company, just broke the Fortune 500 list this year, and it's the 20th anniversary of Polaris Rangers. They donated that Ranger to us. The sticker price on that is $15,800. We're selling 600 tickets at $50 a pop. There may or may not be some left in the bank. So buy as many as you want. You can buy all 600 if you want, but they're not available. A couple other items that we got on raffle that evening is we have 2 Weatherby 12-gauge over-under shotguns. They're the only 2 in the world that have the Minnesota Governor's Pheasant Hunting logo etched in the stock. One will be raffled off, $10 tickets. The other one will be auctioned off. The other auction item is we have a very unique, one-of-a-kind, and I can't do it justice describing it, but it's a pedal car. And it's custom painted for this event.
and pimped out in all the necessary decals for this event, and that will be available for auction. And then, of course, we all need a really nice glazed orange shell bag. Now, in this event, it happens to be a Michael Kors purse. So that will be a raffle item, so you can buy those tickets as well that night, and instead of bringing home a shotgun, you bring home a wife. Bring home a bring home a purse, and your wife will be happy.
Well, you just hang up that purse, that Michael Kors.
Oh, yeah, another great item is, we're expecting about 400 people at the banquet, so about 50 tables. A gal that works for me has handmade 50 spectacular looking centerpieces. At the end of the evening, those will be up for sale for $25 a piece. All the money will go to the high school trap shooting team. So that'll be another great function there. And all the servers that night will be from the Hills Beaver Creek and the Luverne trap shooting team. And they'll be bringing the meals out. So it's kind of a whole Rock County inclusive event, and we couldn't be more excited. And like everybody said here tonight, this is the main cog of this whole thing. And I can't guess it.
So do the raffle tickets for the Polaris and the Weatherby shotguns go to the trap team too, or?
No, it goes to fund this thing.
Fund this thing, okay.
Anything else?
I think it's proper time to mention now that we started this process a year ago, and I don't know what kind of budget people have done in the past, but Rick has done a fabulous job of raising just a ton of money. So all the stuff that you receive as a hunter host, the stuff we give to the landowners and the banquet and stuff, this is well in the range of $100,000 that we have created here, and Rick has raised just about all that by himself. So Rick needs a big hand on this one.
Yeah. It's a little ass kissing here. The very first meeting we had, Tim walks up and says, "I want to be a part of that. Here's $5,000." No. That's how it got started.
Exchange State Bank.
Go to the stage, Tim.
Just buying raffle tickets.
On the note of the committee, if you're on the committee, could you just kind of wave your arms so we can see what committee members are here? The committee submitted an application a year ago July. I've been meeting a year, and this is the 8th one I've worked on. This committee's knocked it out of the park, plain and simple. I mean, through innovation, through fundraising, through staying ahead of schedule. This is going to be a kick-butt event because of this committee. So could you give them a round of applause? And then the last thing is, Arlen and Jane, could you talk about how you want to do this with as far as distributing?
Arlen's the speaker, I'm the hander out.
Yep, so we have a list of the groupings. So, I don't know if it was missed through all this or not, but like I said, multiple hunter hosts on the parcel. So some of you may not know each other. If you're here tonight, I would suggest that you get to know each other, buy each other a beer or something so that you can come up with a good plan. But I will list off the hunter hosts, and then if you're here, come on up and get your packet. The packet will tell you who your guests are and a little bit about them, about where they're affiliated, and the parcels of ground that you parcels of ground that you will be hunting. So no particular order whatsoever, but the first piece we have is Kyle Oldry, Stephen Chesley, and Steve Gonza.
Now what's that?
Sorry, what's that? I don't know if anyone's here in that group.
You need one.
The next group we have is Stan Williamson, Hunter Arndt, David Morse, and Steve Fritz. Anyone on that group here? The next group is Wayne Williamson, Leroy Zacco, Tom Schaefer, and Dan Willem. Our next group is Adam Schaefer, Nicholas Schaefer, and Brian Bolches. The next group is Arlo Leonards, Scott Loosebrock, and Joseph Roach. next group we have is Jeff Albrecht and Philip Burkett. Tom Rennie and David Carlson. Next group we have up is Howard Van Wy and Aaron Zanquist. Next group is, this is actually a group, the women's mentor group. Wendy Kruger, Nettle Coughlin, Christy Coughlin.
Carrie's there.
Give them Scott.
Terry Bolton.
Here.
This is the group there.
Yep.
The next group we have is Jeff Sayre and Ken Reed. Thank you, Ken. Next group we have is Don and Brent Dayer. Together. The next group, Steve Heitkamp, Lowell Olson and Gunnar Olson. Next group we have is, sorry Rodney,
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Rodney Lowe and myself. Next group is Tim Plimpton and Tom Scolton. Our next group is Doug Chapman and Brian Boat. So yeah, if you guys don't know each other before this evening, and we didn't know who knew who, so if we get together and kind of hash things over, there's a map and things like that here, right?
I'll get them. I don't get it, it's my fault.
All right. Our next group is Scott Hine, Tanner Bruce, and Kurt Schickner.
Schnicker back here, I'll head towards there, I'll walk over.
And our final group